Today I'll show you how I edited this dark and moody picture in Lightroom. You can see the before and after. It's inspired by the Budapest city. I live there and I know this city very well. I want to show that gritty street look and focus on the orange tones. I show you the ideas behind the adjustment. If you're first time here, you're welcome. I'm Peter and this is my room. And let's go to Lightroom. First, I try to balance our image because the horizon is a little bit off. I want to make that dark moody street look. Start with the base adjustments under the basic menu. Playing with the exposure until it's good. For this kind of look, I like to compress the image a little bit, so I pull down the highlights and the whites and bring up the shadows and the blacks. Because this is a gritty look, I like to add a lot of clarity, which is add some grit that we need. First go to the saturation menu under the HSL color, then pull down all the colors to -100, because later we like to bring back the color what we want to see. In this picture I like to build my look around the orange and grey colors, because I think the darker tones with orange complement each other very well. So add some orange, red and yellow back. I think it's a great tool to add saturation to each color separate instead of the whole image. But I want a little bit different yellow and orange, so I go to the hue menu and there I can push the tone of the colors more to the orange side. And in the luminance panel you can set the color brightness. In this case I move the sliders a little bit up. Mostly I try to make my subject brighter than the other parts in the picture, because our brains mostly watch the brightest parts and our focus is there. Under the calibration menu I would like to change the tones again, but it's affecting the whole image, not that specific color. I pull down the red primary around there and pull the saturation up around 90. You can play with it, but in this case I only want to adjust the reds because the other colors mostly desaturated. Pull down the tint a little bit too. Color grading. In this menu I only want to pull the shadows a little bit towards to the blue. It adds a little bit blue into it. Next, go to the curves menu. This part is essential for this look. The curves are a great tool to manipulate our picture. First, it can be a little bit confusing, but it's very simple. This is our image and this line is a scale from our darkest part to the brightest part. So if I pull down the midpoints, it affects the middle of our brightness. People often make an S-curve to achieve great contrast, but in this case I only want to bring the black parts up. It makes this hazy look. And some minor changes there too. Next, go to the sharpening menu. I like to sharpen my image, but only some area, not the whole image. So I use this masking tool. If you hold the Alt button on Windows or Option button in Mac, you can see the masked area where our sharpening will apply. So bring up the slider around 80 and 90 and you can see the major lines shows, and then pull up the sharpening slider. I like to add a little vignette too, so you can do there. The point of the vignette is to be gradual. It must be done in such way that it is not noticeable. And masking. This is my favorite part. With this you have a powerful tool to guide your viewer's eyes to the subject. First I want to select the subject. Just click the Select Subject button here, and Lightroom makes a pretty good job with this. But I have to correct some parts, so I click to the Subtract button and select the brush tool and gently remove the unwanted selection. You can bring up the exposure and you can go a little bit further and then it looks okay, because I pull down the blacks and add some contrast and clarity. It pops a little bit more. And then we select the sky and add some dramatic darkness to it. You can use the sky selection tool, but in this case I use the gradient and pull down from the top. Then subtract the subject, because we don't want to change that part. And pull down the exposure a little bit and playing with dehaze and clarity, and I think it's good now. And I like to make another gradient mask under the subject and pull up the exposure a little bit and shadows too, and playing with the settings there. And last thing, I add some vignette with gradual mask, which is Shift and M. And draw a bigger circle like this, and then invert it and pull down the exposure a little bit. It guides our eyes more to the center. And here's my tip. I like to add another gradual mask behind my subject and pull up the exposure a little bit. It helps to pop my subject a little bit more. I think we achieved that look that I want to show. That was our Lightroom editing breakdown, and if you like this dark and moody street style, you can save it as a preset and you can play it in other pictures. What is your thoughts about this look? Do you like it or not? Leave the comment below. And if you like this, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. And thank you guys for watching, and see you guys in the next one. Peace! I'm still here.